I'm in Annaminaby, and I'm taking you somewhere special today, or somewhere special to me anyway, from my past. Pretty little town. It's got a main street with shops, an old post office. Seems like the general store's taken over the post office, and a pub. But that's Annaminaby from the top. And this is the start of the real journey to this place. Not far into it, and a mob of brumbies down on that flat. Yeah, it's 14 kilometres along the long plain road, which is aptly named because it's just a big, long, huge plain where the cattlemen used to bring their stock up in the summertime to graze. It snows. They're actually expecting snow here tomorrow, but we should on Monday, I think, so should avoid that. Anyway, getting closer and closer. Just crossing the Murrumbidgee River. You can step over it. And off in the distance is our destination, if I can zoom in on it.
They are! They are horses, Dad!
Yeah? Off in Cooinbil. I haven't been here in 45 years. Wow, it's been so well maintained. It wasn't in that good a condition when I was up here last. The weatherboards were broken, and used to have corrugated iron and sheets of tin that people nailed up, which I suppose protected the internal integrity of the building. But yeah, that looks $1 million, really does. I think it's only going down to about 6 degrees tonight, so that'll be right. Well, this is my first inspection in 40 years, or 45 years. I think I was about 15 the first time I came up here. And I can remember sleeping in this room with the fireplace raging. And but it's been amazingly restored and maintained. But just a simple 2-room dwelling with fireplace backing onto each other, so that'd be the one chimney, and an outdoor kitchen, which would be appropriate for the summer months for sure. But old tin chimney, colonial design, but and slab veranda. And if I remember rightly, there's a creek down there. And there lies what we used to call Cooinbil Homestead, a grand name for something so humble.
This one is.
Well, a light rain has settled in. It's overcast, so it's not going, the temperature's quite nice. But here's a little guided tour of my domain. We got enough room for a chair, some things next to the bed, and exit out. But, well, it's raining outside, so I hope the audio's alright in this. I use the microphone. Yeah, a lot of memories come back today. When a mate of mine, I'm here with him and his children, suggested coming up to stay at Long Plain Hut, I thought, oh, that'd be nice. But anyway, the plans changed and we ended up coming to Cooinbil. And I've often thought about Cooinbil over the years because I think I was about 15 when I first came up here, and it was the first time I'd camped and hiked. And yeah, I'd learnt to use a compass. We used Cooinbil as the start-off point on our hikes to usually destinations of other high country huts or around the area, and there were no walking trails back then. There was you'd map and compass and it got you there. But yeah, the first time I came up here was with a mad monk. I was educated by Catholic monks who, one of them ran the Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme, and he was a funny old bloke who used to have a 3-ton Dyna diesel truck with a cage or a box on the back of it that he used to load full of kids and drive them to places like this to hike and camp. And he was an amazing man, one of the real role models in my life. But you know, he'd be well over 100 if he was alive today. You know, I turned 60 next year, and I was here when I was 15, and I haven't been back since. But I think the thing that impressed me so much was the condition of the building, how it's been maintained. You know, it's been 45 years odd between me last being here, and the condition it was in then is not anything like, you know, it was terrible compared to what it is today. Whoever did the refurbishment of it using original materials, by the look of it, has done a fabulous job. But little memories came back to me. You know, we crossed a little culvert, the creek, when it's coming up to Cooinbil, and back in the day it wasn't a culvert, there was no culvert there, you actually had to go through the creek, and it was a low level thing. And I can remember as a kid having to push the 3-ton Dyna diesel through it, and it's snowing. Otherwise we would have become bogged. Yeah, so that was one memory. Another memory was one of the coldest nights I've ever had, and that was inside the hut, and it had a fire in the fireplace, and I was still freezing. Yeah, camping down the back, yeah. But I love what they've done with it here. Absolutely love what they've done with it. And I'm going to take Vlad and the kids down to Blue Waterholes tomorrow, which is a couple of caves in there, a little bit of a cave system, and beautiful blue water, which I believe is aptly named from the minerals that are in the water that make it so blue. But speaking of the mad monk, His name was really Brother Kevin Hurley, and he was a Maris brother, educator. But he ran the Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme, which I was involved in, which had a bronze, silver and a gold that you aimed for, and you did things like hiking and orienteering and all these sort of things, and included in ours was shooting. You know, Brother Kev used to take us to places like Lightning Ridge and literally the back of Burke, pig shooting, and the school had, you know, an arsenal of rifles and shotguns and things like that mounted below the monastery. And you know, back in the day, putting all those kids into the back of a box of a 3-ton Dyna diesel with the back gate open, yeah, unheard of today. But yeah, and he used to get up back of Burke and take you shooting, and he used to wear a black watch kilt. And I never knew if he was ever in the Black Watch, because you know, whenever I saw him in the school environment or the church environment, he was, you know, wearing a white robe with a large crucifix hanging around his neck on a black rope, and a rope tied around his waist with 3 knots down the side. So, yeah, but when he got away, he dressed like everybody else, except for the fact that he wore a black watch kilt sometimes. So, anyway, amazing man. Used to drink from this. Good morning. Would have been Cooinbil's water supply. Just downhill a little bit. And here we are at Blue Waterholes. It's a cave system, a couple of cave systems. It's a cast limestone. But head down there now. And this is Blue Waterholes. If the sun was out, the water would look a lot more blue. And interesting rock formations going up. Well, that's Blue Waterholes. It's pretty much how I remember it, but of course it's got signage now and the tracks are a lot more well worn, and it's got a viewing platform and a camping ground here now. We'll go and have a look at Coolamon Homestead along the way back. Coolamon Homestead and some of the sheds, but I'll walk down there now. There's Coolamon Homestead, settled by the Southwells in 1882. See if I can get a bit closer in. It was restored in 1982 apparently, but I haven't been here since the 70s. Just nestled down the hill. This was the cheese hut, built in 1889. Yeah, it's got a fireplace in it too. And the homestead. It was all revamped in the 80s, I think 84. They use traditional methods and replace timbers in traditional ways. But this is the main, or one of the rooms. Fireplace. Interestingly enough, the walls are covered in old newspapers, pound, shilling and pence. See if I can find a date on one. 1939, when they lined the walls for insulation, no doubt. Open roof. Or ceiling in here. And a much larger area out here. Obviously a shed for the wood. And another small room at the rear. Yeah, quite a substantial dwelling for the bush, considering where it was and what time in history it was. In another room, papers back from 1939, so they must have collected them for a few years. And another dwelling, sign says Southwell House, and nice fireplace, veranda out the front. Room off the side. And the outhouses down the back. But once again, a simple two-room dwelling. Difference between this one and Cooinbil is there's no fireplace in here, but I imagine the heat would have travelled from the fireplace and heated up the entire place. Yeah, amazing. And we approach from the rear, so this is the actual front. How they approached it I wouldn't know, but yeah, Coolamon. Four seasons in one day if it snows, and it certainly feels cold enough too at the moment. But that's the end of adventuring for today. Back in the hoochie. End of the day. Sun setting. A relaxing evening. Well, I'm hitting the sack early. Clear night. The weather's cleared up. It's going to be cold. Before I came, I heard that Monday they predict snow here. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But yeah, it's been an amazing couple of days, full of memories. Back to when I was 15, 16 years of age, 17 years of age. Time spent here, and the ghosts of the past. You know, people that I knew, and you know, people that were involved in the excursions. But yeah, it's been a wonderful time. I hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of video I've taken. But if you ever get the chance to get up into this neck of the woods, I highly recommend you do. You know, it'd only take a bushfire and these things would be gone. But touch wood, they're still here today. Cheers.